steady. Hey guys, how's it going? It's your host, Isaiah Aneni. Welcome back to the Game Time Gazette. This is part 2 of the episode that I dropped yesterday, where it was just the women college basketball bracket. And I'm really just looking at the men's bracket side right now. Let me just pull it up for you guys. A lot to talk about as well. Tomorrow's episode, we go and deal with MLB coming back. I know a lot of you baseball fans are excited. I'm excited. You know, a lot of drama coming out of this baseball camp in this new season. You know, with their biggest star, Shohei Ohtani. You know, just not being in the headlines the way he would like to be, but nevertheless, we're gonna cover that. NBA heating up. I mean, reaching the playoffs in the NBA, so obviously heating up over there, and as well we got NHL reaching the playoffs as well, right? So got a lot to cover on the Game Time Gazette for tomorrow's episode. So make sure you guys check in tomorrow and check up with me here. Yes. So let's get to these NCAA bracket. This is the men's side. All right. So, up until this point, there's been upsets. There's been, some surprise games, but up until this point, I gotta say maybe NC State probably the one surprise team here. Not really a surprise team if you believed after what they did in the ACC championship or ACC tournament that you think that they'd have a better chance. You think that they'd be good, in this March Madness, and you'd be right. So if we're not gonna take them for the whole full season, I mean the team itself is a great team. Just had a bad stretch and fell behind. It's still able to make the ACC tournament. Won, then made it to March Madness. Won the first 2 matchups, and now we're looking at them against Marquette, and that's the first matchup I'm going off on. That game is going to be tomorrow. Not that it's something that it's urgent, but this game it intrigues me the most because it has the most parity. As much as people think that Marquette got it, just because Marquette is able to defend NC State and score on NC State doesn't mean that it's a sure bet. I mean, we've seen Marquette struggle against Colorado. Colorado is a great team. The Buffaloes had a great team. A few NBA prospects there. Cody Williams, top 10 NBA pick. When we get to the draft talks and stuff, we'll talk a little bit more about that, in my opinion on that, because, yeah, I got an opinion on that. But, yeah, just... I don't think it's going to be as clear-cut as everybody is saying here with this Marquette-NC State game, even though I do still see Marquette coming out with the win. I checked the Vegas odds and everything. Spread was like 6.5. I feel like NC State covers the spread, at least in this game. Defensively and offensively, what they've been able to do in this last month has been phenomenal. And it's not just been to the mid-tier schools in the nation. It's been also to the Dukes, to the to the North Carolina, right? The one they beat in the ACC final as well. Top team in this March Madness. One of the favorites to win the whole natty, right? So when you look at that, I would love to give my pick here, NC State upset. I would love to start that with an NC State upset, but it's not going to be, because realistically, Marquette is a good team. They're a great team, great program, and they should be able to reach the Elite Eight here. The whole, the coaching edge that they have as well, experience edge, maybe experience evens out a little bit more, but the coaching edge, the talent edge, I just see Marquette passing by. I did want to choose this as my first one because I do see NC State covering the spread. Houston against Duke. You got a Blue Devils starting to play their best basketball here in March. Same as Houston, same as the Cougars. They clinched the number 1 seed this year behind one of the nation's top point guards, Jamal Sheed. Jamal Sheed didn't do much in their last game against Tech. Oh no, it wasn't Texas Tech. Sorry. Let me remember. It was Texas Tech against Texas Tech, right? I feel so unprofessional when I'm searching these things up. Why don't I remember it? It's just a lot on my mind. I know. What's on your mind? What's on your mind? Nothing, man. Nothing. Honestly, nothing should be on my mind. Like, that should be getting me off what's happening with college ball. Or, there's a lot of teams, though. Can't really blame me. There is a lot of teams. How am I going to play? I just want to see Houston Cougars and show me the whole NCAA account. Like, I just want to see the Cougars and who they've played. Yeah, so pulling it up here as it loads, I'm going to stall with a little bit of talking. But yeah, I've really loved the things that the Houston Cougars have done this year. Jamal Sheed, I was talking about, it was Texas A&M. So I even though he didn't have that great of a game against Texas A&M, I pulled this up to check the stats. Oh wait, he did. He had an amazing game against Texas A&M. I forget which game it was. He kind of had a down game. Maybe it was a down half. You get Jamal Sheed, 21 points, 10 assists, 5 rebounds in an OT game against Texas A&M. Yeah, these guys are really strong this year, man. The Houston Cougars, and they've always been that one team that kind of, they get to a certain spot and then they kind of just let you down, right? I mean, last year they were supposed to do it. The year before that, they had a great team to do it as well. But Jamal Sheed really coming into his own this year, top point guard in the nation. Really love, the other players that they got as well. Sire, LG Sire, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm butchering his name and I'm going over and over and over and over it, and you guys are realizing. So LG Sire, Emmanuel Sharp, those two guys as well. 50 points between both of them. Emmanuel Sharp had 30. LG Sharp had 20 points. Or Sarier had 20 points. Sarier, right? Sarier had 20 points. Sharp had 30. I mean, these guys offensively are great. I mean, these are their guards, right? So they're a guard led team, and against the Duke, we seen Jared McCain have a great game against, was it JMU? Yeah, JMU last game. Really blew them out of the water. And I would love Duke in this position. I would love to have them as first upset, kind of not really an upset here. I do think that Duke gives them a scare. It really does, because looking at the way this Houston team has been historically, I'm not just saying this year or how they are historically, this is a letdown spot for them. This is definitely a letdown spot for the Cougars. So I definitely give a slight nod to them. If you want to play a money line, play Duke money line. Jared McCain, Jeremy Roach, Kyle Filipowski. They got players. They really show that offensively that they could blow. They could really blow. And against the Houston Cougars team that Texas A&M, was at a position where they were down 15, 16, 17 points, second half, 8 minutes left. Bro, they were down like 12 points with 2 minutes left. They came back, tied the game, went OT, weren't able to get the win. But those are those things that, the Houston Cougars, they don't have that final delivering, like, knockout punch. Not, okay, you can rise back up. And maybe this Duke team is a team, hey, they rise back up, they might knock you out. So that's something to watch. And I'll definitely play a little money line play on the Blue Devils. But for my official pick and for the bracket of it all, I'm choosing the Cougars. Just off, even with despite all the thoughts of upset, this and that, just got to give it to the talent that they got. You got to give it to the cohesiveness. The group that they got this year is one of the best in the nation. Number 1 seed for a reason. Even with Texas A&M giving them trouble, still a pretty convincing win there. Then you got Houston, let me go to another side of the bracket. UConn versus San Diego State. That's a game that's happening tonight. So I guess, this first pick for tonight, obviously pretty easy pick. take UConn spread, whatever it is, take UConn spread. I mean, these guys have been ridiculous. And, you got, analysts and whatever saying, hey, I feel like UConn could be able to make the Eastern Conference playoffs in the Eastern Conference, or just foolishness like that. Obviously, that's not something that would be possible, man. If the UConn Huskies get to the Eastern Conference, they're gonna get slapped up. We're talking about NBA players here. ESPN Greeny was talking about that, saying, "Hey, I believe that they, some of the teams that are in the playoffs right now, I feel like they're not." They're not. Man, half of those guys, 90% of those guys on that roster ain't even making it to the league. They ain't beating no NBA team. They ain't even beating the Raptors currently constructed. G League players and all. We winning by 30, 35. Psst. What are we talking about? Gay will have a 40. Emmanuel Gay, right? I think that's his name. Emmanuel Gay, G League player, just called up for the Raptors from the Raptors 905. Obviously Raptors are tanking. The whole conversation about, I'm getting a little sidetracked here, but the whole conversation about, the effort that we've been showing, this and that. I promise you, if you put the UConn Huskies in front of us, even the former Jayhawks in Abaji and Dick, I think they're gonna, the former Gonzaga Bulldog in Kelly Olynyk, and they'll put the UConn Huskies in front of us and slap by 45, and we're one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference right now. Probably, after the Scottie injury and all the injuries that we've dealt, we're probably the worst team in the Eastern Conference, competing wise. Man, we stink. The Raptors stink. But that's just all the things about the blasphemy that was said from Greeny. And I know it was just all fun and games, but this UConn team realistically is a wagon. And in college basketball, there's not a lot of teams that are going to be able to match up with them this year. And San Diego State is not one of them. This is a repeat of last year's final, I believe. San Diego State made the final, right? They made the Final Four for sure. I'm not too sure. But this is a UConn win here. This is not something that any disrespect on San Diego State. They got a great team. Jaden LeDee has had a great year. Reese Waters has had a great year. Jaden LeDee averaging 22 points, 8 rebounds per game. But man, we've seen the UConn Huskies play, and we've seen it just not be close. Last game they went 3 of 23 from 3-point range. They weren't even shooting well. They won by 40. So you know what I'm saying? We gotta give respect to where respect is due. The UConn Huskies will be moving on there. Illinois versus Iowa State. I feel like this is one of the more closer games of the night. This is happening tonight as well. I don't know if this is an upset pick. I haven't checked Vegas odds. Let me check it out. Illinois versus Iowa State. Iowa spread. Let's see this. Okay, so Iowa State is -1.5. Wow. If you could get Illinois at +110, man, go do whatever you can to go grab that. Don't let that drop to even money, because it will. This Illinois team has been one of the more fun teams to watch in this March Madness. Tourney. Really have done their Mazza. Don't look at any numbers in this matchup as well. I'll give you a little tidbit and a little myth buster here for this March Madness game. Number 2 seeds are 36 and 23 against number 3 seeds in the March Madness. It doesn't matter. 36 and 23, 61%. It doesn't matter. Illinois is going to win this game. They're a better offensive team. By a little bit of a margin, in my opinion. They just shoot the ball better than Iowa State. They could get inside. They have big guys. Terrence Shannon. You know what I'm saying? Marcus Damascus. We'll see them do their thing. Marcus Damascus, I believe he got a triple-double his last time out as well. Diverse, one of the 5 players in NCAA history to get a triple-double, right? So I'm not saying it, just because the guy got a triple-double. I just feel like the team is more cohesive. The team is a better shooting team. And when it comes down to it, I feel like they're a better defensive team as well. I don't feel like Iowa State will be able to guard the 3-point line. ultimately just leading them to not be able to guard the interior. Iowa State has done a great job of holding opponents under 62 points per game all season long. But again, this Illinois team that has picked up steam in this March Madness is not the same type of Illinois team that we seen earlier in the regular season, dropping a few of those close games, not doing what they have to do, have to do to win those games. But I don't see that happening here again. These are 1.5 Vegas, in Vegas's opinion as well. This is an evenly matched contest. You could go one way and you could go the other way, just hoping that the team you go on is the right one, right? That they have the more fire to win. They have the more desire and want to win. That's all you hope for. Because at the end of the day, you could look at the numbers, you could look at the plays, you could look at this and that. These two teams are the most evenly matched teams out of all the rest of the, Sweet 16s matchups. And that's not just because of 2 and 3 seed. That's because of the styles of play that they play. Iowa State leans a little bit more on their defense to feed into their offense. They're a defense to offense team, fast break, those type of things. Illinois is a team that offense into defense. They're playing good offensively. They'll play good defensively. All that energy, take it back to the other end. So it's really a thing of how these two teams are playing each other. You'll see who has the advantage when the tip-off starts. You could have all speculation and all that you want, but when tip-off starts, you will know who's, is it going to be offense or defense that wins today? That's just it. In my opinion, I believe that Illinois will take out the win here. Then we got North Carolina versus Alabama. I got North Carolina in this matchup, not to make it seem too quick. Alabama got a great team. They got a great team. Just Mark Sears, Aaron Estrada. They got a great team. They got a great head of the table, all of it, top to bottom, able to get to the Sweet 16 again after losing, number 2 pick Brandon Miller. Very impressive. They didn't expect Alabama to do all that they've done, right? But the very impressive run, well, even though others might have been expecting it, right? But just one win or 2 wins in the top 25, so against stronger opposition, that's one stat that kind of popped out to me. So against stronger opposition, they didn't do as well. They didn't play as well. They didn't play their game as well. They verse mid-tier, lower end competition, and they dominate, right? They play really well. Not dominate. They play really well. They've struggled against a mid-tier, lower end competition as well, which is troubling against the North Carolina, which is not a mid-tier, lower end competition. This is high tier. This is the best of the country right now. And I just feel like offensively, they'll do their best to try and score, but their liabilities defensively will come and haunt them against this NC State or North Carolina. I keep saying NC State, North Carolina team that defends or that shoots the ball well, goes inside, has a great big man on the inside in Babcock, and just does things well. The whole team as a whole is hard to defend because of the 3-level scoring that they got, be able to go inside, outside, and the mid. So I don't think that this is going to be blowout. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, though. Clemson against Arizona. And then I got one more. Okay, Clemson against Arizona. I got an upset here. I don't know how much people got this upset. Let me see what Vegas's odds are on it. Let me see this. Clemson versus Arizona. And I got an upset because I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I love the way that this Clemson team has been playing basketball as of late. The number 6 Clemson Tigers are off, fresh off their one of the biggest upsets of the tournament, taking care of number 3 Baylor. That was a really strong team. This is the second time that they've advanced into round of 16 in school history. They're facing a tougher test in Arizona, yes, but I feel like, we haven't seen the Wildcats tested at all in this tournament. This is it is good for a team, especially how they played last year, got out early. I think it was second round. It was an upset. Arizona loss was an upset. Maybe it was the first round. It was an upset. I remember. I forget their seeding and everything, but Arizona was really good. Same as they are this year. Really good. Arizona's a good program. But, I just feel like, madness, you got momentum, this and that. It's not just about, oh yeah, you're really good, because all these teams are good. All these programs are good. As much as you don't want to believe it, all these programs are good. And they haven't been to the Final Four since 2001. Granted, yeah, take that in. You don't like to see that. Obviously, if you're betting against them, they have that extra added motivation, all of that. But just looking at the way this Clemson team has played in this March Madness solely alone, I'm doing this solely off the win of Baylor as well. The shooting that they're able to do, the interior scoring. I truly do believe, like, if Hall, I believe his name is, what's his name? Yeah, PJ Hall. If PJ Hall is able to stay on the floor, I think they win. I actually do think they get the upset win here. North Carolina against Clemson. I got North Carolina taking that one. And then UConn against Illinois on the other side. The round, the Elite Eight. I got UConn taking it, obviously. So obviously, on the Purdue, Tennessee side of it all, I got Purdue taking it over Tennessee. And then on the top side of that, I got Houston taking it over Marquette. So we got all 4 number 1 seeds in the Final Four. I don't know when the last time that was. When was the last time? Has there ever been? Yeah, only once. That happened in 1985. Oh, I don't know if it happened in 1985. It's just when it's expanded to 64. But it happened only once. It only happened once. And it has the best chance of doing it again. History repeating itself for a second time. Just the way the matchups have fallen. I wouldn't be surprised if an NC State beats a Marquette, though. I wouldn't be surprised if a Clemson. Oh, no, not Clemson. Where am I looking at here? Where is it? Oh, if a Duke beats a Houston, as I said. Those are the 2 upsets that I'm looking at right now and saying, yeah, probably. Would I be surprised if Gonzaga beat Purdue? I would. Not gonna lie. But in the Final Four, I got UConn over North Carolina. Just that I just don't see anybody on that side of the bracket being able to beat UConn. The size that they got as well, shooting that they got when they're shooting well. And North Carolina's a team that can get got. Can get got with the runs, can get got just locking them down defensively. But I would say, though, North Carolina is the perfect team to knock them off just before the finals. And then I got Houston losing to Purdue. Same thing on the Purdue side. Purdue is just a strong team. I feel like Zach Edey and them boys finally put it together and finally playing their best ball, that they can possibly play, And I truly do feel that, Edey and the boys get the win there. And Edey and the boys go into Glendale, Arizona on April 8th in the final and win the national championship. You heard it here first on the Game Time Gazette. I really do believe that Zach Edey and the Purdue Boilermakers are going to be the national champions, and here's my reason why. This is where I'm going to end off at. Zach Edey, Braden Smith, they've been playing perfect basketball. Zach Edey himself is more than anybody else on both sides of the ball will be the reason Purdue wins. Big players make big games, and Zach Edey, he's been criticized. I mean, even his draft stock took a dive because of just, hey, he's too big, this and that. He's slow, he's lazy, this and that. And he's been dominating here in March Madness. And I don't think it stops. There's nobody that can guard Zach Edey. If they can get the ball to him, which they've proven that they can on a consistent basis, they've proven that they can. I don't see them losing to anybody in this tournament. I see the Purdue Boilermakers as the winner of March Madness. Let me know what you think about my bracket. Let me know what you think about all that I've said here on the Game Time Gazette. I'd love to hear all of your opinions, reviews, and I mean, if you want to diss my bracket, go ahead. I want to hear it all. Write down there in the comments, reviews or whatever. Let me know what you think of it. And just stretching out the goodbye here. I'm gonna miss you guys. But until tomorrow, it's been your host Isaiah Nenny, and this has been the Game Time Gazette. Peace.